Hello, we're live on Facebook. So welcome to our final musings of the year. This will be the final one for 2022. And we thought the topic today would be good to discuss the energies for 2023, just to give us a kickstart into the new year. So today we're going to be talking about some soul journeys that we've recently done and the insights that we've got, but also we'll be sharing about what we think the energies for the next year is going to start off with. So in the past, we've talked about the Ascension particle that's been released to help us evolve. We've talked about embodiment, we've talked about heaven on earth, and all these videos are on YouTube, so you can watch them there. But otherwise, we'll be here for about 30 minutes on Facebook Live. And afterwards, those that are joining us on Zoom will stay with us longer so we can chat a bit more and in depth. So welcome to everybody here on Zoom. So you'll be with us in about 30 minutes. We'll switch all your cameras on to speak to you. But meanwhile, I think I'll just check with Alicia that all of our shares are happened.
Yes, they are. Just okay. So welcome, beautiful souls, to again our last multidimensional musing of 2022. Again, we always are excited to be here with you today. So about 3 weeks ago, Trudy shared about why discovering our soul's great vision is important and how it aligns with your best abundant life. And then 2 weeks ago, I shared about why deepening soul connections over the holidays is important and how to create a soulful holiday season and throughout the year. And then last week, Eva shared about co-creating your sparkle and body rejuvenation, plus 3 'tis the season gifts to bring peace and joy into the body, not only in December, but any day of the year. So again, all of these are uploaded on our YouTube channels, Christine Ascension or Trudy_Marie_Williams. And this week, we are sharing about what energy to expect or what we're sensing into for 2023 that is aligned with our soul ascension and human evolution. So if you're connecting with us for the first time, my name is Alicia with my mom, Eva. We're co-creatresses of Crystalline Ascension with our galactic sister, Trudy, White Star Soul Guidance. And if you're catching us live on Facebook or here on Zoom, please do say hello in the comments or in the chat. Let us know where you're from. And a warm welcome to those of you who are watching the replay. Do hashtag replay so that we can circle back around later on and say hello to you as well. Hello, ladies. Wow, what does it say? Nice necklace, Alicia. Yes, we've had the debate of this necklace on it is flowers or gummy bears. So this is my only Christmas necklace that I own, or my only red necklace that I own, borrowing my red lipstick from my youngest daughter. So we invite you to join us each Monday on Facebook Live in the new year on Zoom for about 30 minutes as we continue to share our discoveries from our multidimensional soul journeys, as we explore new frequencies, new templates and codes that are arriving as we walk the ascension path, living as a multidimensional being in a human body, and how we're bridging those two together, that heaven on to earth for soul ascension and human evolution. Just gonna read these comments in here. Hi, ladies. I'm happy to be here. I'm in Texas. Hello from Texas. Hey from NZ, which would be New Zealand, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Marta, hello, ladies. All of you look very beautiful and sparkly. Susie, lovely to be here. Lillian, great to be here. Welcome, everyone.
Welcome, yes. And we've got a couple of viewers on Facebook, but I can never see who they are. So hello, people on Facebook. So for people who just joined us here on Zoom, just remember that when we end the Facebook Live, we continue. So don't sign off, stay with us, okay? All right, so we did another soul journey on Friday, so we thought we'd share that one because we were excited to see it was all about manifesting and some new manifestation codes that are coming in. So I thought before we went and dived into that, I'll tease you a bit with that knowledge and just tell you a little bit of the history of how we got here. So we started off in July, getting together and mixing our stories and getting to know like different angles on the same issue. And we found that we had one big question, like what is New Earth abundance going to look like? That was our original question, which I kind of forgot that was where we started. And each week, it was almost every week, we were getting different insights that were slightly feeling off center, but still related to abundance that we've been going through. And it's been a mixture of our own self-growth, new templates and codes for us. Plus, it's also been a change of planetary grids and seeing new information coming in. But the interesting thing for us was that obviously there's lots of people doing this work in different areas and different parts of the world. And I'm logical, so I was like, well, how does that fit in with everybody else's? How do we know? How does the divine know to make this all slot together properly? And from our discussion, we were discussing how we all have our unique frequency. So whatever we're working on is almost like in a box of our unique frequency. So mine is divine intelligence, Alicia's divine architecture, Ava's divine encryption. And when we look at the same problem, we just have a slightly different lens through which we look at it, which means that everybody on the planet right now will be looking at maybe abundance, but we'll see a completely different sets of codes and templates that are unique to them, that are relevant for New Earth. And I thought that's quite amazing, because that really fits into the 12-12 energy of today, which is this kind of tapestry of life, and how as light workers, we're also woven into that. And we're all responsible for our own part of this divine plan and bringing those contracts in, and the downloads and the light codes. And what we kind of noticed was that if we took that approach, then we probably need to reach out to other light workers and see who else would want to join maybe a mastermind where we could get together and share our findings. Because we found that when the three of us came together, we were able to weave new understandings into what we had. But if we could widen that net and really sort of roll this out as a pioneering light worker kind of forward thought leadership kind of way, then that would really be a cool thing to do. So I don't know if anybody's interested in joining us maybe in January, not the beginning, we'll wait a little bit in the middle of January to see if anybody be interested in joining us for that. But we're just kind of pondering that as a 12-12 kind of action that we can take to help roll forward the New Earth energies. So let us know in the comments, and we'll add you to a list, and then we'll let you know when we set that date up. So think of this as we're in an age where everything seems to have like stopped, and it's just come to a complete restart. And I don't know about you guys, but what I'm noticing is when I'm trying to tune into the energies at the moment on a divine intelligence, my specialty is divine intelligence, on a divine intelligence point of view, when I ask what's happening next, I'm getting kind of a very fluid, flexible kind of answer. It's not rigid. And that's interesting. And it's kind of a bit disconcerting. So I'm used to getting like really solid answers consistently. And I think that's coming off the back of us being at a time where we've closed off one chapter and we're moving into the next. And it's that closing off what we were fighting for and starting now to create what we want. Well, of course, if we're creating what we want, then that energy is not there to tune into. So instead of knowing what is there, it's more a set of frequencies. And this is where Alicia's architecture comes in really handy. So Alicia, what are you sensing into those architectures that you're seeing now at the moment?
Well, what I'm seeing is a lot of my focus right now is to the crystal heart, that etheric crystal heart coming into place. And I can see that a lot of them are either corrupted or wanting to be created this new kind of architecture in order to allow in these more high vibrational frequencies of the new earth, which is all about that unity consciousness, that oneness within. So in order to do that, we're going to need that kind of like that foundational structure in our temples of light, in our bodies, in order to have those frequencies come in, integrate and anchor into our physical bodies to then express that oneness through our crystal hearts. Because if we're connecting and speaking heart to heart, it keeps pulling me back to the heart anyways for that architecture that's coming in.
No, that's perfect, because I think it's almost this real trust now in trusting the plan. It's like not knowing, but trusting. And it's about feeling and sensing things are shifting without knowing how or why. Because if we're moving into something new, it's not there yet. So it's that we just create it as we see and feel and want it to be. So we can't piggyback off something anymore to create it. We have to now really tune into our heart and start bringing that architecture in, which will open up like random ideas. I think that's how it's feeling, that the divine intelligence now is going to start like popping, like party poppers going off all the time. You'll just get these kind of like quick ideas, and pay attention. They're really, really important right now. How about you, Ava? What are you seeing on the body and the aliveness kind of aspect?
Yeah, what's really coming strongly for me is Mother Gaia is really changing and shifting. So like in order for us to really shift and change, Mother Gaia has to change, and so does the collective. Like it's no more, like it's our responsibility now to really put out that which we want, and to be open to that new awarenesses, those new creations. And it was funny that you put those webs up, because the card that I got was the web today. And I laughed after I saw it, and it's both the grandmother and grandfather spinning their webs around us for creativity and imagination, and really allowing that destructive old paradigms leaving. So I really feel that there's going to be more cleansing and clearing, and as a collective, there's going to be a huge wave of new energy pushing away. Just think of the collective is really dense, and it's going to be really pushing it away, and new wave frequencies will be coming in. So we all need to be open to receive.
Yeah, no, that feels very much. And didn't you mention something about it, kind of like stepping stones needed for this process as well?
Well, yeah, because as we're moving away, that unknown is really a gap, because we are really all stepping into that unknown. And for me, they were showing me that gap is now stepping stones, going from one to another. And it always was sort of like, right, a stepping stone to go it. But this is now with trust and faith, and just be and allow it to receive it and see it and move forward in the unknown with the uncertainty, and just have that courage and bravery to keep moving forward.
Yeah.
As you're speaking, what I can see you doing is almost like you're weaving those stones together in the human body. So that's what you're creating, those next stepping stones for that next human evolution to come into place. But that's what I saw you doing as you're speaking about that.
Yeah, because they did show me peace pipes and those comfort blankets, and I don't know what the peace pipe means, but it's a comforting peace pipe. I would say it's really comforting, and so is that snuggle blanket. Well, it's like we're not going to no longer need it. We're going to have to give it up, because we're going to have to be, like I said, we're going to have to really rise and expand ourselves in the coming months, days, hours.
No, that fits, because I feel like 2022 was all about understanding our value. And I think the reason that value was so important is because they want us now in 2023 to start taking action on it. And I think one of the things we definitely do is when we go on our soul journeys and we find the Divine Mother energy and all these other aspects, which I must admit, with my logical mind, I didn't know what Divine Mother stood for. And I'd say, Alicia, explain, tell me more. And then I'd have to dig into it till I could make it something tangible. Then I'm happier when I can see the tangibility of it. And as we were doing that, we really were starting to see how we can bring it into the physical. And like, I read so many posts that say, this energy's here, and I'm like, yeah, but what do I do with this? So we've made it part of our kind of like our mission to make sure that we find ways to anchor this into our physical bodies, and I'm not talking about just what we see in our third eye, but actually into our physical bodies. And Alicia's taught me a lot about how the architecture of the body needs to have this kind of manipulation, and Eva's taught us how to weave it into the layers, to really think of the DNA upgrading and visualizing our bodies changing, which on most kind of spiritual journeys, you don't think about that so much. But, imagine you found a new frequency, you see it, and then you're told what architecture to create, and then which part of your body to embed it in, and then seeing that part of your body upgrading and reforming. Then it's a much more powerful combination when you do that. And then from that, then we can take it into action plans of what we think you can do on the earth to help you. And I do soul path work, so I help people then align with their soul, like their 5D mission, their 5D work. And I think that 5D work is really important for people to change not change jobs, but add the 5D skill set and the heart templates into that, and the physical templates into what they do, so that they're evolving the work they do at the same time. So on a physical level, I'll hand over to Alicia. What were you thinking, like what's been the biggest sort of physical shift that you've noticed for us over the last couple of months that we've been doing this?
Oh, physical shifts. Oh, it's very hard to explain and pinpoint, because I do feel like there are truly moment by moment embodiments that are happening within the body, or these new awarenesses, new perceptions, but everything is happening so quickly now that it's very hard to pinpoint exactly what is going on in the physical body. But I do feel the shifts happening in place as the architecture is being created within the physical body. I do feel those physical whether it be shifting inside the physical body, or just allowing, I'm having a hard time explaining this.
I was thinking along the lines of the dragons and the energy system, even the way we've seen that. Like you saw the first architecture of the new energy system within the body as the chakras expanded out into many aspects. that was one of the things you saw and explained to us when you saw that.
Yeah, it was just a whole, so basically what I was seeing at that time was that everyone is, let's say if everyone is a sacred temple of light. So I saw everyone's sacred temple of light shifting and changing with these new life force energies and new frequencies that were coming in. But at the same time, it was definitely still a choice to come step into that space. But that's what I did see in the visions, that we were lighting up these beautiful temples of light all over the world, creating this new frequency, allowing these new frequencies to come in, and they were bridging themselves together, weaving the webs together, and we were all creating that together. But in order for that to happen, our physical bodies or our soul light bodies are going to need to be upgraded in order for us to be able to anchor in this very multidimensional high vibrational light. You could say that then.
And I think that was the reason that we saw that shifting, as we saw the new life force energies being born and integrated with the cosmic energies. It was kind of like real heaven on earth combining of life force energy. The chakra system was all shifting. There was kind of like new nodes opening up, new pathways opening up. And it all feels like all of this is part of the evolution of the human body to allow more of our soul essence to enter. And as we were doing work with other people, Eva was starting to notice new battery packs, new fixes, new templates that we needed, that had been almost like switched off in previous lifetimes from in slavery or manipulation. And like when you saw those battery packs coming into people and being wired in, it was an energetic thing, wasn't it? And happiness, and it was frequencies, wasn't it?
Right. I'm sorry, I'm being drawn to the pineal gland right now as you were.
Well, that's part of it. So go for both.
But the battery packs, of course, are important because that's going to be your energetic vibrations to move forward. Like you could tune it on, turn up the dial inside of you, like put a crystal inside of you and allow it to be your battery, and then give it a turn. Put on a new dial, put on a new station. Let's get our body connected with who we really want to be and what we want to do in this life. But the pineal gland was really important. Even today was really showing me, like, because we did remember that session of like I don't know how many billions ago when the ice age was. And it was really showing me that all that memory, everything from 2 billion years ago, it was in our pineal gland, and it was breaking up. And it was like the heat, and you could say it was from the heat of the dragons. Like it was just breaking up and crumbling, and we're beginning to flow again. Like our life force is beginning to flow again into our bloodstreams, into our nervous systems. And this is what really rang to me today when I was tuning in, is just to really say that our pineal gland is also like, it's crumbling. All the old crusting is crumbling, and the new waves are beginning to emerge and flow inside of us.
Cool. So that's just a couple of the physical upgrades that we've seen happening over the last 6 months. And then like the energetic, the architectures holding the higher essence of our soul, we've seen those coming online. So of course, when you're sitting there and you think, well, why are we being shown all of this? What are we supposed to do with it? Well, we've integrated them into our body, and then we've used that within our clients, within our meditations. We're encouraging people to breathe in that 2.4 billion years ago, we found the Ascension, like an Ascension particle had to be released. We're using that now on our breath work. We're recommending that people connect now, not just to the ground, but to ground into 4 energies, into the earth, the fire, the earth, the water, the air, but on a real kind of like cosmic mix of the primordial soup level of energy that's been released now for you to access. And we think that this is what's leading up. These, I think, are all the clues that are telling us that 2023 is going to be a push. It's kind of like this has been the preparation. If you've been working on really resolving your issues around your value, if you're able to be authentic and still feel valued, if you feel spiritually liberated, which we'll come to in a minute, then you'll be able to move into 2023 with much more of a spring in your step as you step into the unknown, because we know that's the unknown bit. It's still there. That's not going to go away. It's how you approach that unknown that's going to be the key to get us through to next year. So with spiritual liberation, this kind of goes back to, again, each time we take a soul journey, we notice that we're finding some really, really deep core wounds are coming to the surface to be healed. Things that we probably kind of touched on before, but on a higher level, we're going right down to the source of it to remove it. And again, I think that's really important to understand as a phase of what we've been going through, because if that's coming up to be cleared, and we are clearing it because we can feel the difference, then that means that, again, this message that we were getting that the old is finished and the new is starting, it's just more confirmation that that's where we're at. And that's why we're kind of going back over these changes that we're seeing, is to show so much has changed. That's why it feels so vague on what the future is we've got no foundations of anything that we've used to use before as our guides. They're completely gone. And this is why coming together in this kind of mastermind concept is going to be more important as light leaders and thought leaders. We can't say, oh yes, let's create a new form of Reiki, or let's create a new form of, it's something new, something so new that we're not even sure what it is. And we have to have the trust in ourselves that we know, and trust what we're given, trust the gifts that we're given, and then trust that we can birth them, or that we can find the people and the community to birth these new things in. So I just wanted to ask Alicia about your vision that we've seen so far, that kind of ties into the community that we're hoping to create.
Yes, a while back there, I was getting those visions of how we can create these beautiful unity consciousness within New Earth. So in order to create New Earth, what I had saw was we were creating and councils of light, councils of families, you know, they were families of light coming together in order for us to rise together and for our own self to express what's coming from our heart to go into this world. But imagine these councils of light all over the world, and we're all expressing from our oneness, from our true divine heart source. And we're then at that time, that's when we're transforming our world to new world, you know, to the new earth, to that celestial Gaia, because everyone's in their own divine, abundant, authentic self, embodying more of their multidimensional essence and expressing that throughout the world. How beautiful would that be? You know, I see these beautiful tri-waves of, I saw a lot of the water flowing in, but these tri-waves of harmonic frequencies flowing in, and just, you know, how the waves take over the whole world. So that's what our energy feels like when we're creating these councils of light, that it's just going to encompass the whole world with these beautiful harmonics.
Mm-hmm. That's beautiful. That to me is like heaven on earth, isn't it? That's what we're here for, is to create that. But, you know, it's also that understanding that it's not about who gets there first. We all have a piece of the puzzle. It's like, we're looking for each other to make sure that everybody's putting their pieces in. And if somebody's feeling a bit shy or a bit down or not completely stepping into their value, we're there to support that person and bring them up so they can put their piece in place. And that's the only way we're going to create that community, I think. And this is why we were thinking today about this mastermind, is how do we stretch this out more? And we know, like, the spiritual liberation is really important as well, because if you are frightened of your spiritual skills, that's one thing that's going to stop you putting that jigsaw piece in place. So it's really getting that freedom of, you are free to create what you want, and really knowing it on a deep level, that you don't have to be as you were. And you can have loads of healings on this, but really it is just a choice. You can choose right now. Those contracts can be dissolved. They can be changed just by you intending it right now. And it might not feel like it because it's been such a long time being stuck where we were stuck, but you can actually change it quite quickly right now and start just deciding. So on Friday, so Eva, did you have something to add there? You nodded. No,
just
agree. Okay, just checking. So on
mind
Friday,
you, when you were talking, it was almost like, and I don't want to use the word pillars are rising, but I feel like we're bringing up our own, like, you know how they say that new cities will rise from underneath the waters. Those new cities are us.
Yes,
that's what the vision is showing me, is that we will rise up. And then we will be the ones, you know, together orchestrating this beautiful wave that, I don't know where we're heading, but it just so look beautiful. That's all.
It was the sacred temples. Yes, not like for pillars, I see sacred temples. So I'm like, you are saying that creating those cities, because we are the temples within all these beautiful cities. Yes.
And that was good, because a couple of years ago, I kind of got that, whilst we were kind of being told that humanity was a blight on the earth, I was getting shown that humanity was necessary for earth, because we are the conduits to bring the energy down. And if we were really tuned into that, we would act almost like junction boxes between the heavens and the earth to bring that energy through. And it was the way to help disperse the energy through the grids of the planet. So that would be, again, that we are individual temples of earth. And that's a beautiful way to put it. So it's not outside of us anymore, is it? It's all inside of us. And that's the thing that we have to really grasp. We are valuable for being authentic, just for being on the planet, because we have a role to play here right now. So we better get on to the manifestation bit. So we teased them long enough. So on Friday, we decided, again, like I said, we've been working on abundance since the new year, since July. So we started on July 4th, and we did work on the financial kind of aspects. So it's not a surprise then that financial things started shifting after that, even if it was quite drastic. But this week, what we came at to was that we were noticing, so the way we look at it is we find what's bothering us in our lives, and then we tune in, and then that's our clue. So every time, any challenge you have in your life right now is a clue to something you're meant to be birthing. And this challenge took us to manifesting, because we noticed that as light workers, there's no definition of how you define yourself. So the only way we could do it is defining like what we were not by seeing other people. And we've also been told this story from a lot of spiritual texts that said we were a bright star, we didn't know what we were, so we came down to earth so that we could discover what we were not, so that we could remember what we were. And what it became apparent during the soul journey was that, if you think about it, goes against all of the teachings of manifestation. We know that if you put the not word onto your manifesting statement, you get the thing without the not. So if we're always constantly stuck in a loop of comparing ourselves with others in order to find out who we are, it doesn't matter how hard we do our manifestation statements, how hard we focus on the feelings at that time. Our default programming is this constantly like, I'm not like that, I'm not like that, I am like that. And this was a DNA level of programming in our bodies. So we started undoing this and freeing up the energy so that it would become more, that we could define. It wasn't even that we could define ourselves, was it? It was just that we could know ourselves without having to compare ourselves, which led us to the unity consciousness Alicia was talking about. So in that process, the inner child, and Alicia was starting to get a lot of inner child stuff, so I'll hand over to her on this part of the story.
No. Well, I think at that one time I get a lot of downloads in the shower. So that's how that came about. So anyways, as I'm tuning in and I'm calling in the Divine Father, the Divine Mother, and I'm unifying them. And I keep asking, what are we missing? What are we missing here? What is the missing piece, you know? And oh my goodness, of course it is. It's they shout out to me, you're missing a divine child temple, because Eva, Trudy, and I are creating these, I would call these a celestial city in the etheric space. We're creating these beautiful temples. So that is one that we haven't really, that we never created in order to plug into our life purpose temple and for the manifestation. Anyways, so they had shouted to me, you're missing the child temple. So off I went to share that with Eva and Trudy. And that's how that came about for myself. And then, yeah.
And when we were kind of tuning into this, we kind of found, we kind of asked, like, where is the source of this manipulation? Where is the source of the root of why humanity is operating on this old operating system? And Eva saw jokers, and that was like a bit confusing. It makes more sense now, because it takes us a few days to kind of put the rest of the dots together to get the image. But it's jokers you saw, wasn't it, Eva?
It was, and these jokers were, remember the yo-yo?
Oh, yeah.
So they were like doing the yo-yo and pulling it out and then pulling just as you were going to grasp for it, right? Milliseconds before you could get it, they would yank the yo-yo back. And it was like, it was quite nasty, right? Because how many of us are reaching out, asking, requesting, demanding, commanding of what we want, and we're just going out there, putting ourselves out there, and as we're about to grasp it, boom, it was taken away from us. So yes, we had to deal with those jokers.
So I thought afterwards, because jokers are kind of like, we said that they kind of have inner child wounds, really, don't they? And we did have to kind of model a bit on Batman. I know we did have to go there, because it was like, well, what does a joker mean? But we were thinking inner child wounds, so it kind of was leading us to these beings that had just inner child wounding that needed healing. But also, as a joker, they've got that fake smile on their face, as if it's a forced kind of grin, which also kind of aligned with that inner child freedom. You know, the opposite of that would be a completely free child. And then we realized that the energy of a child is absolutely the most perfect energy for manifestation. And we're all taught not to tap into that energy. But think of it, and we were describing this yesterday, like you give a child a blanket and a chair and they'll build a tent. You give a child a, I don't know, some water and mud and they'll make a mud pie. That's like the where we need to go to now. That's the manifestation energy we need to tap into, is that childlike infinite possibilities, a bit like the child that's never been told, never failed, never made a mistake, never fell over, that's willing to be bold and try things because, hey, I'm going to be on the moon when I'm 10 and I'm going to fly an aeroplane to Australia when I'm 6. It's that energy that we need to tap into, and that really is the inner child energy. And that was the yo-yos that Eva saw being kind of like pulled away from us. So we kind of we renegotiated with these energies to allow us now to have an opportunity to manifest. And all they wanted was happiness, wasn't it? They just wanted their own inner wounds healed. So once we kind of processed that, it was then free for us to access, which allowed us to bring in new templates and codes of abundance and manifestation, which was super exciting. So yesterday we had a workshop where we introduced some of our people to the first time to this inner child, or this divine child temple, and it just finished it off, didn't it, when we brought in the masculine and the feminine. So the masculine energy to me is this action, decision making, protection, boundaries, is like guard, to make sure that you're protecting your thing that you're birthing. The divine mother is the nurturing, the intuition, the softer kind of side of it, to nurture what you're building and birth it. And then the inner child is that creating with abandon energy. So imagine tapping into those three. So just like we got the 4 dragons and we've got the ascension, evolution of the body, we've now got these amazing 3 new energies for abundance and manifesting. I was just going to hand over to Alicia, but she's looking like she's thinking about something. I was just going to ask Alicia, but she was like, yes.
I'm tuning into the way you're.
I know you are. That's why I can see you were gone. Because it's quite hard for us, isn't it? Because even as we're talking now, we can feel the energies around us, we can feel them creating, and they're giving us more insights as we speak. And it's kind of hard to keep on topic when it's like telling you stuff on top of what you're doing. But have you guys got any new insights you want to add to that today?
No, at that time, I do feel that, again, before it was, I was seeing a lot of the 333, and it's like almost like, how could we have forgotten about this this beautiful trinity of creating that unity consciousness in order for manifestation to really kick in. So at that time when you were speaking, I was just like, how did we forget to bring that in? But it was really great to have everyone come in and experience that unity consciousness on a whole new level within. Because I think for myself, as soon as we did that on Friday, I was telling you guys, Eva and Shruti, I couldn't pinpoint that feeling that I was feeling, but it was almost like that inner child giddiness. And I was seeing everyone in this new perception, this new light, and I couldn't explain what I was feeling, but it was like almost like a new perception of joy or love, or seeing through the innocent eyes. Just my family, just, I have 4 children and a husband, but I was just watching them, and it felt so incredibly different, because when I tune into energy, I feel it more in my body. So I do feel like the elements in the bodies are going to be changing as well, and unifying and coming on board. So I don't know where that came from too, but I do definitely feel drawn to working with the elements within the body.
Well, the last time you had that, we ended up with a new Ascension particle. So, so we pay attention now when these weird kind of like, not quite sure what that means, is we've got more context now to work with them. But it is all this weaving, isn't it? And Eva, for you, when you absorbed this manifestation energy or this new codes, how did it feel kind of when you started feeling it into your body?
Yeah, it came through as like kaleidoscopic. Like crystals of kaleidoscopic, but all different colors, shapes, and sizes, and it was right down into our body. And the interesting thing was that today, when I went on Facebook, the first thing that they showed I saw was kaleidoscopic cosmic energy, and I was like, oh my God, we just did that yesterday. Like, like that was a beautiful synchronicity, a beautiful
confirmation.
Yeah, it was real. Like. Yeah.
So I don't know if you guys have noticed anything since Friday shifting with abundance and with manifesting, but what I'd suggest right now is that you really think, so it's kind of like a bit of a hall of mirrors. You're here manifesting. Some of us have learned really well that manifesting is about not the words, like of the things you want, but of the feelings you want. It's not about using the not words. It's about making sure they're precise and they're laser focused. And all that side's like working here. But look at this part of your life and look at how you compare yourself with everything around you. Look at how you compare yourself to your value to your work, how you compare yourself to other people. And if you're still doing that comparison, then this is not going to work. And it's about now resolving that into this unity consciousness. And I don't think we even realize that us thinking about one particular problem in our lives would lead us to another clue about what unity consciousness actually means. But it is, each thing we're doing is leading us to a new understanding, a deeper level of understanding of the concepts that we've heard spoken so many times. Like, unity consciousness, what is that? Oh yeah, we're all connected to each other, but what does that really mean? And this is like, yeah, this energy of us trying to work out what we're not all the time. Forget it. Just start believing in who you are, not by your name, not by your job, not by what you do, but just by knowing that you are here as one of these, what did you call them, pillars of lights. And you're here to bring in some frequency that the new earth needs. And that's your only goal. And as you work hard to upgrade yourself, then yes, if you've got clients, if you're a light worker, you'll have clients who you'll help lead through that process too, but it'll be your unique process. So don't copy other people. Find your own unique path through that, because that's if you don't do that, if you're trying to copy somebody else and you're not delivering your message, it's not going to work. You have to stick to your path, because that is where you're meant to be. So I think that's the best advice we can give for this energy that's coming in. And if you're not feeling any of these energies so far, then start a ritual, a daily ritual to start connecting to them. Because even though we met the 4 dragons back in July, every time we connect with them, we get to know them on a deeper level. And the only reason we're progressing is because we make time every week to connect to them. We make time to ask questions. We don't just receive, we ask, we explore, we expand, we question. And I think that's got to be why a mindset, like a mind, what's the word? I keep saying mastermind, but it's it's the other one. Yeah, the other group that we want to create, the mastermind. Mastermind, that's right, yeah. Because I can think, yeah, that mastermind is what we want to kind of put together so that we can start pulling this information together and see what we can build. But definitely co-creating now. We've got this new abundant energy, start tapping into it.
And utilizing it. That's the whole point. What you're saying is utilizing this beautiful multidimensional essences that are coming in. So we just can't just watch them come into place, or else they're just going to pass us by.
Yeah.
We'll see them and off they go. But if we don't utilize them and integrate them and anchor them, that is when we can truly express them and create with them. Yeah.
So I guess the advice for next year, what's the one sort of tip that you can give them for next year?
One tip.
Mine is value yourself, value the ideas you're given, and do something with them. Doesn't matter how minute, how small, whether you share them with a friend, whether you create a blog, whether you create a post on Facebook, do it and watch what happens next, because the universe rewards action.
Yeah, I think for myself would be going within and really coming into that place where you want to unify yourself. You want to unify that divine masculine, divine feminine, and that divine child within yourself in order for you to connect with others who have had that divine union within. Because I feel that it's all about within that that oneness. I'm heading more towards that. I know a lot of people are finding their beloveds, and they're looking for others to complete themselves and to feel that beloveds come together and complete themselves. But wouldn't it be really, really divine and more amazing if I was totally unified with my divine masculine, divine feminine, and divine child, and my counterpart, or whoever I choose to be with in this human earth life, is totally unified themselves? Could you imagine what you two can create together if you're both in unification with yourself and in your wholeness? And
but it doesn't have to be a sexual partner. That's what we've done.
No.
we're like, it's amazing what we're creating. So yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So that would be the tip for next year.
Yeah, mine would be faith and trust. Like that's a wagon I fell off many, many, many times and had to climb back on. fall back off. So I feel like that is really calling to each and every one of us, is to really step into, and maybe we'll do a session on what new trust and new belief and new faith is all about, but really allowing to yourself to answer that knocking on your soul's door, really opening it up and well, like, what are the whispers of trust coming to you? And if it was faith, just step in and just feel, see, sense, know of what amazing faith that you have inside of you, and what it could actually bring to you once you allowed it to integrate and just open your hearts and receive to trust and faith.
No, it's beautiful. So I've just done my my December reading, and I just think these cards are beautiful. We have sacred pleasure. So let's all absorb that energy and get into our bodies. And then a card that I've got, and also Ava's been getting, that's showing up, liberation. So that's us, guys. That's us dancing. And the better one then is that for January, I'm getting gold.
Oh, beautiful.
So this is January's kind of energy. So it kind of all lines in with what we're saying. And yes, you know, each of us will have our own version of this. Some of us will be more further along than others, but really tune into the energies now, because it's like being a child in a candy shop, and you've got all these sweets that you can be eating, and you're now being given permission to go and stick your hands in everything and grab all the pieces you want and then take them home and cook them into something that, like, your own little pie. Or I liked Ava's got new cosmic cake and cosmic champagne, so it's having that party of your own with all of that, your own pickings then of what you want in your life, how you want your life to be. But it is about spending that time and focusing on what you want in your life and how you are going to create it. So that's us for today. We're going to just wrap up, and just a quick word on our spiritual liberation workshop. So we did one yesterday. The next one won't be until about February. But if anybody's interested in knowing what we're doing there, it is about reprogramming some of our templates and our codes to allow us to break free of, like, three people yesterday said it felt like they were having cosmic surgery with the three of us being there doing the work yesterday. And we are really undoing a lot of these old templates and putting new reprogramming in to allow that spiritual liberation, so that you can feel bold about using your talents and your gifts. So that'll be in February if anybody's interested, but we're not going to talk much more about that today. So hand over to Ava to sign off.
Yeah. Should we read some of the comments, or?
Oh yeah.
I was thinking about that. Now we won't know where they went, but
That's okay, because I've got nothing on Facebook. So
okay.
Alicia, can you see them?
I can.
I can go in. So I would love to join you in the new year. So they're talking about the mastermind. Marta, I'm joining. Joe, that's so exciting. I'm an intuitive energy healer, so would love to know more. Excellent. Angela, yes, how to keep our heart open in times of turbulence. Maybe that was talking about the architecture within the heart. Oh, another beautiful necklace. So one of you have another beautiful necklace on.
I think that was Ava.
Lillian, today has been a real eye-opener through my meditation, as they have showed me what needed to be released and sending it back to the original creator. And the peace pipe in Native is exactly that, having peace throughout our lives and in the future. Yes, we are becoming those peace ambassadors to co-create New Earth, definitely. Hattie, hopefully I'm saying your name correctly. Exactly, that is what's been going on with me. I had a divine intervention with myself to make changes in my life, and that's how I feel. Angela, sounds like primordial. No, I said that wrong.
Primordial.
Thank you. Waters, yes. The cosmic waters.
Oh, yeah, we got the primordial particle and the cosmic waters. Yeah.
Joe, I love that the elements are getting recognized. Yes, more as I work with Reiki, Sakem, and that they are so needed to be utilized for our healing. Yes, I agree with the elements. They are coming up, and they are coming to me as well. Lillian, it's funny you mentioned the 4 elements. As I've been bringing them into my meditations and working with them more and more, I was guided to include them, and I feel more complete. How beautiful is that, right? The life force energy is completing you. But definitely, Hattie, that would be amazing. Yes, yes. These are all yeses to something. Sorry. And that's the stage I'm in. I know myself.
That's the divine child stuff.
Oh,
We
okay,
all
all
want the
right.
abundance, divine child. I mean, because Marta then says, I love this child energy. That's your clue. Yeah. Hattie's got focus on purpose and self. New world for 2023 is golden. Yeah, that is what we can have, is the golden. And I think, didn't they call it like there was a golden period after a pandemic before? So when we've had pandemics and then the financial crashes, there is the golden period that comes next. And I think we are now a little bit closer to that than we were before. And then we got, thank you so much from Susie. Hattie says, love to join again, and thank you for this amazing event. So cool, don't go, Hattie. We're going to go say goodbye to the Facebook group, and then we're going to stay with you guys and chat a bit more. So Eva?
Yes, thank you for sharing your time with us. So if there's anything you would enjoy us to speak about, please put that into the chat. And it really seems that each time the three of us get together, a new secret sauce is being revealed. Our desire is really not to keep these cosmic revelations to ourselves, rather for you to step into curiosity and spend time with us and experience moving from old paradigms to new limitless abilities and capabilities that shifts one to no longer grasping for what you want, but to live with that aliveness in a new manifestation era. So here's 3 ways you can stay connected with us and be the first to see our uploads. We will have we have the Stardust series, Being Human, and we're going to keep moving forward into January. And you could come join us on Facebook at Higher Consciousness Living, Stepping Boldly into the Unknown, which we will leave the link below. And we do multidimensional musing weekly every Monday right here. So there are videos within the Higher Consciousness Living Facebook group where you can view some past videos. But the best part is that if you opt for a ticket to our next multidimensional Monday, you can stay with us after we say goodbye to the Facebook Live, and we can have Q&A regarding what we just spoke about, or a quick chat just to get to know each other better. So there'll be links for both 1, 2, and 3. So we will keep it super simple for you as to stay connected with us.
Excellent. So thank you, everyone. I will say goodbye to Facebook now, and see you in the new year on Facebook, but we're going to carry on talking now with our group here.